Okay, so I need to talk to you guys about something serious. The Skyrim Civil War. Now, throw in a rub first, why not? Then I'll talk about this, because it's something near and dear to my heart, and I think I want to share my perspectives as someone who is quite into the Elder Scrolls lore, share my perspective on the Skyrim Civil War, and kind of my view of it throughout the years, like where I started and then where it kind of went. I've got Skull Peach mixed with Grizzly Fine Cut Natural, because I didn't have enough of either to make a full pinch, so I was like, you know what, I'll mix these together. And we're about to find out if it's nasty or not. I doubt it is. Grizzly Fine Cut can really take any flavor to it, hence it being natural. Hence was not the right word to use there, but I'm going with it. If you don't know what band this is, then you need to learn a little more about metal. Seriously, they're an amazing band. I'd imagine if you grew up in the era of MTV being MTV, then you probably know who this band is, but yeah. But if you don't, I'm not going to tell you. You need to figure it out yourself. But yeah, Skyrim Civil War. Oh, that tastes pretty good. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to taste bad. I knew it was going to taste just fine. But, Skyrim Civil War. If you never played Skyrim, I need to ask you, where the hell have you been for the past almost decade that it's been out? It's seriously like one of the biggest games ever. But let me give you the skinny on it if you somehow managed to never play Skyrim. It takes place on a continent called Tamriel in the province of, you guessed it, Skyrim. And the natives to the land of Skyrim are called Nords. Kind of, your generic kind of Viking type thing. And traditionally they worship the Nordic pantheon, but in Skyrim, the game Skyrim, not the province, but in the game Skyrim, Bethesda just kind of forgot that the Nords had their own pantheon, so made them worship the Imperial pantheon. But that is neither here nor there for... Actually, no, it is kind of important for the Skyrim Civil War. But anyway, there is an empire. They are seated in the province just south of Skyrim called Cyrodiil. And this empire was founded by a man by the name of Titus Mede. No, that is not even close to being his name. I don't know. Titus Mede II is the current emperor during Skyrim. What the hell was his name? Tiber Septim. I don't know how I forgot that. Tiber Septim, the founder of the empire in Cyrodiil. And Tiber Septim combined with two other souls and became a god. Now, it's kind of confusing, but just know that and there's 9 gods. They're called the 9 divines. Let's see if I can remember them all. For a long time there was 8, and then Talos became a thing, which is a combination of Titus Mede and a few other ones, a few other people's souls. Getting confusing, I know. The Bella, Mara, Julianos, Xenathar, Stendarr. God, I don't know. Anyway, there's 9 of them now, and one of them's Talos. And that is the Imperial Pantheon. And do not ask me what the Nordic Pantheon is, because I cannot remember. But Talos is not in it. But, yeah. In the Nine Divines, Talos is like the human god. And the gods are also called Aedra, but that is kind of in-depth for the lore for what I'm trying to do in this video. I'm trying to talk about the Skyrim Civil War. So, yeah, they're called Nords, and there's an empire. This is what I was getting at. There's an empire, and they control Skyrim, but there's a civil war or a rebellion to get the empire out of Skyrim because the empire outlawed worship of Talos, which for some reason in the game Skyrim the Nords love, even though they aren't supposed to worship the Imperial Pantheon. Don't ask me. But yeah. Let's forget about the whole wrong Pantheon thing for a minute. But the Nords want to kick him out. And you're asking, well, if this is an Imperial god and he's so important to the Imperials, why did they outlaw the worship of him? That is a good question, and I will tell you. There is a third faction, well, second if you don't count the Nords. Oh, and the Nordic Rebellion is led by a man named Ulfric Stormcloak, by the way. And the name of the rebellion is very creatively the Stormcloaks. By the way, that's not a narcissistic thing. Ulfric didn't name them himself. They just took to calling themselves Stormcloaks. Some Imperials in the game seem to call him narcissistic for that. Yeah. Let's see. The third faction, they're called the Aldmeri Dominion, and they're run by the Witch Elves, as the Nords call them, also known as the High Elves. The Aldmeri Dominion, also known as the Thalmor. I was like, why did the music just stop? I was switching the song. They're called the Thalmor. And there was a war between the Empire and the Thalmor, I think it was 20 or 30 years before Skyrim took place. The game, not the province. Normally when I reference Skyrim and I don't say the province, I'm probably talking about the game. But yeah, there was a war, and again, this is getting into the lore a lot, and I want to talk more about the Thalmor in a minute, but basically there was a war and the Thalmor out, and the Thalmor were very clearly winning, and they made the Empire sign a peace treaty, which was very not nice, and made them basically ban the worship of Talos, and, you know, a couple other things. Like, you know, the Thalmor get to hunt down anybody worshipping Talos and murder them. I'll talk more about this in a minute as to why the Stormcloaks could be viewed as the right side. Now, I, as you may know, am a fan of civil wars. Not that I think war is good, but I don't know. I like civil wars. I think they're an interesting concept, especially in a fantasy world. They can really, or in a game especially, can really spice things up. You know, the Civil War in Skyrim really wasn't implemented all that well, but it really can spice things up and make things from a lore perspective fun to think about and contemplate, well, which side is truly the right side here. And for reasons you may know, before I learn anything about what's going on in the Civil War, I tend to, whatever Civil War it is, tend to really sympathize with the rebels. I wonder why. And so, at the very beginning, I was siding with the Stormcloaks. I was like, yeah, the Stormcloaks are right. And when I learned a little more, I was like, yeah, the Stormcloaks are definitely right here. So let's talk about why the Thalmor outlawed Talos worship. So, I'm not going to try to get way too in-depth here so it doesn't, not make any sense. But the High Elves, and most of the elves in general, but the High Elves specifically, are descendants of the old Eldnefey, which were kind of gods, like actual gods. And basically they view humans as abominations and want to unmake the world so they can become gods again. And Talos, being a human god, being soul of human, or 3 humans to be specific, but again, soul of a human, kind of throws a spanner in the works, because it keeps the human soul or spirit alive or whatever, and the Thalmor don't want that. So they want to wipe out the worship of Talos, so then they can go on to unmake the world. Basically, the Thalmor are bad. So that's why I was thinking, oh, well, the Stormcloaks are good, because, well, if the Thalmor wins, then, bad things will happen. But then I thought about it a little more. Wait a minute, the Stormcloaks are weakening the Empire. And I know what you're thinking, well, that's good, but it's not. Because a second Great War, which is what they called the first one. They called the first one the Great War. The Second Great War, or if you would like, World War II, but it's not a world war, because of course there's other continents on the world of Nirn, which, and Tamriel is just one of them. So Second Great War. I just made World War II as a reference to actual history. But a Second Great War between the Empire and the Aldmeri Dominion. And a weakened Empire is not a good thing, because the weaker they are, the less they'll be able to fight the Thalmor. And so, if, say, the Stormcloaks do win, then, one, the Empire is weakened and can't recruit from Skyrim anymore. It's just not a good thing. And then Skyrim itself as a province is weakened because it doesn't have any military. And the Empire's military is fairly big. So you could argue that not being able to recruit Nords may not be a huge issue. But then there's the province of Skyrim. If it was only people protecting it are Nords and Stormcloaks or whatever, then the Aldmeri Dominion can very easily take it by force. Because, well, if the Aldmeri Dominion can beat the Empire, they can sure beat a ragtag group of farmers, which is basically what the Stormcloaks are. So, yeah, and then if you play the Civil War, there's the Imperial General stationed in Skyrim. His name is General Tullius, and basically he doesn't like the Aldmeri Dominion at all. He doesn't understand the Nords, but he doesn't like the Aldmeri Dominion. And he says, at the end of, the Civil War, storyline, Ulfric, you're retarded. This is only weakening the Empire, and the Aldmeri Dominion will fight the Empire again and wipe us out. And it makes a lot of sense, really. And then you can kind of question, why didn't General Tullius have Ulfric executed first? But that's probably due to the Aldmeri Dominion, because the Aldmeri Dominion wants this war to last as long as possible, because they want to weaken the Empire. And the Empire, if you don't know, it's mentioned in the game through, I think, notes or whatever, they have, full legions. During Skyrim, they have their only force in Skyrim are recruited Nords. but they have like full trained Imperial legions on the border waiting to march into Skyrim. On the order of General Tullius or the Emperor, I can't remember, but they're waiting to march into Skyrim. But Skyrim, on its border with Cyrodiil, is very mountainous, and the Stormcloaks, if they really wanted to, could engage in some very heavy guerrilla warfare there and kill off a good bit. And of course, when you are an invading nation into some other nation, you're always the other country you're invading is always going to have a home field advantage, and the North would have that. But basically, the Imperials are the right side because they can unify Skyrim and, then have a stronger force and then be able to take out the Aldmeri Dominion. Hopefully, they'll at least have a chance. Because if the Civil War continues or the Stormcloaks win, the Empire's chance, they don't have a snowball's chance in hell if the Stormcloaks win at beating the Aldmeri Dominion. And that's not a good thing, because as I've already said, the Aldmeri Dominion are definitely not the good guys. And I'm gonna end this soon, but I was talking, this is a long time ago, but I was talking to a guy about the Skyrim Civil War, and he was like, I don't think he paid attention to the game at all or any of the lore, and I don't think he'd ever played any Elder Scrolls game besides Skyrim, and I don't think he read anything, any of the notes or journals or anything, or even paid attention to the dialogue for that matter. I think he read one book, which is the Talos Conspiracy, and that's it. Because he defended the Aldmeri Dominion, and he was so convinced that Talos wasn't a real god and all this. I'm like, what? And I tried to explain to him what the Aldmeri Dominion were actually trying to do, and he would just could not get it through his skull. And I'm like, what are you talking about? God, talking about this really makes me want to play Skyrim. You know what, if you made it this far in the video and you like this music, I'll tell you who the band is. It's Sepultura. Go listen to Sepultura, they're great. But no one's watching this far into this video because I'm mentally unhinged about talking about things. But yeah, if you somehow never played Skyrim and nothing I just said made any sense, go play Skyrim and fight for the Empire. I will pause this and sing a little song for you that I still remember to this day. That goes against my position on this, but I'm going to sing it anyway. All hail to Ulfric, you are the High King. In your great honor we drink and we sing. Death to the Empire. Oh God, I forgot something about death to the Empire and all of their lies. Yeah. Anyway, we're the children of Skyrim and we fight all our lives. Sovngarde beckons, all of us will die. It's not what, then all of us will die, or something along those lines. But yeah, with that line, all hail to Ulfric, you are the High King. That is ingrained in my head from way back when. But yeah, fight for the Empire. I'll see you guys next time.